We have two different pad thais. We have this is a traditional pad thai rice noodles, the Lotus Foods, that's kosher, okay? And this is the first one I purchased. So I'm gonna tell you a little bit about this. The noodles, as you can see, this is what the noodles looks like. I cut them in half. Okay, so they look like, this is how they look like when they're dry. Okay, so I just snap them. Okay, it's easier to work with when they're smaller.
Oh, I should have done that.
Well, it's okay. What type of noodles did you purchase? Did you purchase that one?
They were pretty similar to that. They're like a round thing. I got them at the Korean grocery store.
Okay, but
they're probably not kosher. I didn't know there was.
Oh, that's okay.
Such a thing as kosher pad Thai noodle.
Well, that's a problem. It's not your traditional Thai pad Thai noodles that you see like this, the hard ones.
Oh, that's what I got. It looks just like
I'll show the demo on that also. You have to cook these like pasta. You have to boil the water. And I cook these, it's 8-ounce package, and I cook these 4 ounces at a time. So you fill, I have, for the 4 ounces, I did 4.5 quarts of water with 2 tablespoons of kosher salt, and let it come to a boil. And then I put the noodles in. And you have to constantly stir it with a pasta spoon. You got to keep the motion going with the water, because it has a tendency to stick to the bottom of the pot. So this is the first one I used. This one is 4.5 quarts. And then if you want to cook the whole package, 8 ounces, this is the 8 quart. So fill it up with water, let it come to the boil. And here I put 4 tablespoons of kosher salt, and the other one I put 2. So as you're cooking the noodles, constantly taste it. It takes about 15 minutes to actually cook them. On the package, it says 5 minutes. And this is my 3rd package, by the way. So constantly cook it, and you can see as you're cooking, I put the timer on the stove and I was cooking it, and so I was tasting it. You're gonna get a bite maybe around the 8 minutes, and it's gonna feel soft on the outside, but when you bite harder, it's still gonna be al dente. It's not gonna be cooked through yet. So you wanna go to at least 15 minutes, 14, 15 minutes, and take it out of the pot, bring it over to the sink, okay? Get a strainer, run the water cold, and pour the pasta into the strainer and put cold water over it. And constantly move it with your fingers so it doesn't stick together. When it's finished, you can put a little bit of plain vegetable oil or corn oil or avocado oil, just so it doesn't stick. The water is going to be mucky looking. It's going to be very white. So all that starch is coming off, and then you don't want that starch to go with you with the noodles. So this is this is 8 ounces right here. Oops. And 2 ounces on the floor. So here we go. Let's ate first batch, and he goes, something's really mushy here. I said, oops, because I cooked it like I did my regular pad Thai noodles, and it did not work that way. I actually called the company, and you couldn't get through, so I sent an email, and I did get a response about 12 o'clock, and he told me what I was doing was right, and that's how these noodles are made differently than the Thai noodles. So there's a difference. So let me show you the Thai noodles.
Harriet has a question.
Yeah,
Sure.
I have a question. So you're supposed to cook the noodles until they're really done.
Right. Only this package, only this package. I haven't seen any other Thai noodles that you have to cook till it's done, except for this package.
Oh, okay.
Because I started off putting them in water like I do Thai noodles, and it basically, I had 1 clump of pasta. it never separated. All the starch came out, and I said, what did I do wrong? So I know it from past experience cooking pasta, if you constantly stir it and you have the salt there, and the salt, it helps keeping it apart. And actually it did work. I made it with the brown rice like this one, and this one as well. But let me show you the Asian pasta. The Asian pasta, you just put it in warm water. That's all you need to do, because it's much more pliable. It's a little bit easier to work with. This is actually a vegan, gluten-free vegan rice sticks. Well, they're all probably vegan anyway. So what we'll do is the recipe is the same. I just wanted to let everybody know that there is a difference with the lotus pasta. So definitely a difference. And let me see what else we got here. So, and I'm using, with this, I'm using the organic coconut palm sugar. I used to use regular white sugar, and I find that this has a richer flavor. It gets a nice caramelized flavor when you mix it into the sauce. And I have the Red Boat fish sauce, which is, they have it at the butchery, and they do sell it on Amazon for about $12.95. This lasts a long time, but I just want you to be aware of the salt content. So 1 tablespoon of salt is 1,490 milligrams.
Wow.
So, right, and they
Gotta
do
be
use
kidding.
this in Thai restaurants. That's what gives you that flavor. It's this product right here. So you have to realize you're not going to be having a tablespoon. It's going to be over all the noodles. So, but it is high in salt. And then we have tofu. I'm making mine with tofu. So this tofu was fresh. This is the tofu. It's from, it's actually, I purchased it at Whole Foods, and this is fresh tofu, and I pressed it only for a couple of hours. I got about 1/4 of liquid, but it's very easy to work with. It's, I baked it in the oven. I made it into strips. I put some fish sauce on it, and I put a little olive oil on it, and I baked it in 15 minutes. It was done. So, and this is, let me see if I have it. Let me show you what it looks like. Put them into little cubes. They weren't falling apart, and they're like, you know, really, really, it's very tasty, extremely tasty. Let me show. And the bean sprouts. Okay, these are your bean sprouts. Make sure the bag is fresh, and usually, and I usually look behind the ones in the front, because they're very fragile. So if you keep it, put it in your crisper, in back of the crisper, so it stays, it has that moist, that crack to it. You want that crack to it. And I usually just rinse it under water. But if you find you can't get, you know, the healthy looking sprouts, you can poach it in water just for a second, in and out, and it'll pop back up a little bit. Okay. And let me see what else we got here. That and the sauce. Oh, one other little trick I wanted to show you. I have a chili pepper. Let me just put the ovens on a little bit. A red Thai chili pepper, which has a lot of seeds in it. So you don't have to touch the seeds. You take, let's see if we can get this. You take your pepper and you roll it. You roll it back and forth on your cutting board, and that releases the seeds on your on the inside. So when you open it up, you just have to shake them out. You don't have to touch it. You don't have to cut it and take them out with your hands. Otherwise, that's why I got the gloves on, because I had them on my hands. So that's my little trick. So let's see what, and oh yes, the Thai basil. Thai basil. It almost smells like a little bit of the Pad Thai. the flavorings in it of the Thai. I actually bought them it's a Thai sweet basil. I bought it in Market Basket. I tried to grow it, trying to get stems on it, but they're pretty reasonable. It's like $2.34. Again, keep it in your crisper in the back, and then it should be fine. Okay, so we're gonna start with my favorite noodle here. My favorite one.
Which one is it?
This is the lotus one. This is the
Okay.
lotus kosher. It's the I looked all over to see if I could find a true pad thai, like a Thai rice noodle. So I have a Teflon pan. So warming up the pan. Put a little bit of oil in it. Let's see, what am I doing? Okay, there was water. Okay, so I'm gonna add the chicken and the tofu first.
You do that or the eggs first?
The chicken and the tofu, I'm adding a little chicken. By chicken, I poached ahead of time. I like to use cooked chicken because our stoves are not really high heat. So if you go to a restaurant, they have the inferno underneath the wok, and that could really cook up fast. We don't have that. And we have a tendency to let it sit there. If you let it sit there, you're going to get moisture, and it's going to make the noodle a little softer. So I have pre-cooked chicken. Put that in there. And I put my vinegar mixture, the white vinegar with the organic coconut palm, and the fish sauce. And you can add more after you cook it because the noodles really soak it up. But it has that sweet and tart and a little bit of umami. Definitely salty, but not too salty because the sweetness takes over. So here we go with it. So in case you're looking, this is a Chinese spatula that they use for the wok. This is what I was talking about. So I have a Teflon.
Sherry Zedek says hi to everybody.
So we're just like cooking it a little bit, and then we're going to put the noodles in.
Did you do the eggs already?
Hmm?
Did you cook the eggs already?
I'm cooking on the stove, in a Teflon pan.
The eggs, though.
No.
The recipe
No.
called for 2 eggs?
No, she hasn't done those yet.
No, I haven't done the eggs yet.
Okay.
Forward. I usually keep it around 5.
Do you need to cook the tofu ahead, Ida?
You're going to get a little bit of sticking. You're going to get a little bit of sticking once the noodle's in. So once you put the liquid in, it'll stop. So right now, the oil is hot, and we're going to add the egg. So we have 1 egg. I scrambled it up. We put it in we push everything to the side. And then we add your egg. Now let it sit for a couple of seconds because it's going to harden. It's going to scramble up. See how it gets a little bit? Okay, push that off to the side. So now you can add the noodles to the egg and mix that around. And then what you want to do is, at that point, when you see the egg is cooked, it has a nice mixture in there, the egg and the chicken and the tofu. I usually add a little bit of sprouts in there to cook with that. So now I take my sauce, give it a little stir.
half
So
of
you
this.
just put it in. And let it cook. This will cook together.
If I need these tongs.
Now at this point, if you want, you can put hot pepper in it. You can put like this is the crushed red pepper. So we're gonna put a little crushed red pepper and a little bit of the chili red pepper in there.
Well, I think I'm supposed to add the sauce.
If this is probably about, I would say about 5 ounces of the lotus pad thai. So it's almost ready. I'm going to take a couple of the mint leaves. I'm not going to chop them. I'm going to tear it with my hands because you get more flavor with it.
Oh, interesting.
So you can add that with it. So the steam is coming out. I'm very happy these lotus noodles are working very well. You have no idea. Okay, so now I think we have everything is in the pool here. So this is what it should look like. You see it's getting a little thick on the bottom. I don't know if you can see that.
Yep.
See how it's getting a little thick with the sauce?
Okay.
Smells awesome.
We're gonna plate
It
it.
actually does smell pretty good.
I know. I asked how many times Les had it last week. So we put it in.
I gotta add the pepper.
Okay, so put this in there. And then we'll sprinkle some, we're gonna do the scallions first. Some scallions. Here. And we'll put some peanuts on top. And then we have the sprouts. And a wedge of lime.
Ah,
See there?
yep.
So you're ready to go.
Mm.
Now I'll eat it for you if you want me to try it.
It looks delicious.
It does.
Yes.
Actually, this is the thing I was cooking for the last couple of months. I just wanted to, so this is what it looks like.
Here's my
Now this
question.
is the Lotus Kosher Pad Thai noodles.
And so which noodles do you prefer?
I actually prefer the Asian one. I was very shocked. I mean, really shocked. Trying to figure out why they would make a Pad Thai noodle that's like pasta.
You wanna see how this tastes, Greg?
But I guess, you have to realize it's coming from, a foreign country, and I'm sure there's no kosher restrictions there. But see, you pick everything up. Let's take it. I like it.
Less
This is the first time I made it with
Yeah.
the organic palm sugar. I always made it with regular sugar, and it definitely has a much better intense flavor. It brings out the sweet and the sour. It really does. So that's this one. Now I'm going to show you the other one.
Where do you get the palm sugar?
Actually, I bought this in Whole Foods. Wholesome organic coconut palm. They usually sell the palm sugar in little discs in the Asian store, but you have to melt that first. And this worked fine. This actually has a low glycemic in terms of the sugar. It's better on your body than the real white sugar.
Well,
It's healthier.
what's the difference between coconut sugar and coconut palm sugar? What's the
Well,
difference?
coconut palm sugar is darker. Coconut sugar is a little bit whiter. It actually comes from, I wrote it down here. Okay, coconut palm sugar is coming from the liquid part of the plant.
It's like syrup.
The liquid part of the plant, and that's the difference. So here we have Okay, so now we're going to do the, put this one away. We're gonna do the regular Thai noodles. So where is it here? Oh, what did I do with it? Okay. So
Probably put
I'll give you an idea. These noodles also, they come in a bag, they're twisted around. So I'll show you what they look like. This is this I actually ordered on Amazon, but I didn't want to go out. They come like rolled, like this. You see how they're rolled? Okay. What I have is only half of that roll, because you can really get a good bang for the buck out of it. So I took it, I broke it, I took it out, and I actually broke it again in half, because it's easier to work with. And you just soak it in warm water for about a half an hour before you decide to cook it. That's what you can do with it. Let me think what else we can. Okay, so here's this one. I have a little bit bigger wok. And we put a little bit of olive oil in there.
This is good to go, Greg.
And I put the chicken in there. And I put the tofu.
I don't know if I'm gonna bother with the lime. Do you like the lime on your pad thai?
Now you don't have to, well, when you go to the Thai restaurant, most of them don't have, they give you a piece of chicken and a little bit of tofu in there. But I actually made stir-fried vegetables with this. I did snow peas, and I did onions, I did scallions. Because I just like the texture. I'm also gluten-free, so for me, the rice noodles works. And you could put peppers in here. You can, like with the snow peas. You can put onions, shallots, regular peas, whatever vegetable you have hanging around the house. Okay, so I have. So now I'm going to take out. I'm going to strain this first.
I have to say, it's very good. I just made it.
I just made it? Oh, good.
Yeah. My husband
Okay,
approves.
so here's the noodles after now these are very silky, and they're a little bit, there is a bite to it. So you really have to cook these a little bit more than you have to do the ones that we just did with the lotus. So I'm putting these in here.
I'll have to not bring this out tomorrow.
So these will get soft, and when you add your liquid, they definitely will get soft.
So, is there a sauce to put on it?
No.
No, put it like a peanut sauce.
Well, we could. We'll have that peanut sauce.
Okay, so it's moving a little bit, getting there. I do have a giant wok, but I figure you won't be able to see it with it. Okay, so I'm actually probably gonna put a little more oil in here because I have a little more noodles. So I'm gonna put the egg in. Now you don't have to put the egg in. It's up, it's up to you. You don't really have to. So it's cooking. Let it cook for a little bit. I also have some tips on things afterwards too. Cooking tips. Let's see what else I have there. Oh, just the FYI, the cauliflower risotto, I froze it and it was fine coming out of the freezer. You just had to mix it a little bit. Okay, so let's see, put this a little higher. Now these noodles will have a tendency to like stick together, but once you put your liquid in, here we go, with the, they're getting to that texture that we want. They will separate a little bit. Plus, I also had jumbo eggs, so they were small eggs. Okay, so now we're gonna put the liquid, give it a stir. You can let it cook a little bit. I actually fell in love with wok cooking because remember Danny Kaye?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes.
I read his biography. He loved Chinese food, and all I could remember from the whole book is that he built a wok in his kitchen, so he was able to cook Chinese food the whole time. Okay, so here we go. I'm getting there. So I'm going to put a little bit of bean sprouts and the red pepper in. And I'm going to put a little bit of the Thai basil. Now you don't have to put the Thai basil in either. It's, you know, it's your own preference. And actually it tastes really good the next day also. Okay, we'll put a little bit of the noodles in. Let's go try that. Okay, so this is what it looks like.
I can see why you have to cook the chicken first.
Yes, because unless you have a big wok, any type of protein, I usually try to cook ahead of time. Even when I do stir fry, I won't. I'll leave it just for the chicken. Okay, so let's put this in. Okay, so here we put a little bit scallions on the top. And we have some peanuts. These are the peanuts. And we have the sprouts. This one doesn't have hot pepper on it. I didn't do any hot pepper. So this is the second one. And let me get a fork so you can get an idea.
Don't forget the lime.
Hmm?
The lime.
So
You
here's
just said no lime on this one.
You went what?
No lime on this one, right?
Oh, no, I didn't. Well, you can.
Maybe I'll try a little lime. She's sprinkling.
And you can definitely see the difference between the two. It definitely has a different
Different texture.
definitely different texture.
So I don't see it.
So it's really more prep time than it is cooking time. Once you get everything hot, and you can also put it in a large 14-inch Teflon pan. You don't need a wok or anything. It works just as well.
What did you have the heat on, Ida?
I started at 5.
Mhm.
I went to 6 a little bit just to get the noodles cooking, and then I lowered it between 4 and 5.
Okay. And I had a question about the fish sauce. If
Okay.
you have people that don't do fish,
Well,
is soy sauce a good
tamari.
tamari? Okay.
Tamari is good. This basically has.
Don't tell them.
How do you reheat it if you have leftovers?
This has no. It's basically anchovies. That's what's in there.
Yeah, I know. But
Anchovies.
could soy sauce be a substitute?
You can get tamari on. Tamari is also good. You can have coconut amino. Here, I'll show you another one. Hold on.
You know, Carol, it doesn't actually taste fishy.
Oh, Dawn would not object to it.
Oh, I don't know, but I mean, how much? It's not a lot of it. I don't even notice the taste.
Okay, but it just gives it a nice flavor.
Yeah, you wouldn't, you don't taste fish at all.
You don't taste fish.
Okay.
You can add, let me see what I have here. You can add some rice vinegar maybe to it. Some rice vinegar because it has that tarty taste, a little bit sweet tarty. I also have this is Thai peanut sauce. You can do that. You can add
Oh,
some
I have that, yeah.
You can do that. The other thing is coconut amino. I thought
That's
I had a
interesting.
bottle. It's the new soy sauce for gluten-free in the keto community. It's a
Okay.
little small bottle. It's pretty reasonable. They sell it everywhere. I think they sell it at Trader Joe's.
Do you have to keep the fish sauce in the refrigerator?
Yes, after you
Oh,
open it.
okay.
Correct. Yeah.
I was gonna say, I could put it up in the back shelf and you'd never know I had it, but.
Now you have to hide it in the drawer.
Yeah.
And,
If you have leftovers, how do you reheat it?
I would just put it in the oven a little bit. I mean, I put it in the microwave too, but you can put it. You don't need to. I don't really put any extra sauce on it. Well, Les puts like Tabasco on it.
Do you make peanut sauce for it, Ida?
I used to make peanut sauce for the Four Seasons Hotel many moons ago. Many moons. I made peanut sauce. I do.
So do you make it to serve with this?
Oh, sure, definitely. They have they use the Thai little jar of the Thai red curry. It's a small little jar, and they add that to the peanut sauce and makes it that reddish color.
Mm-hmm.
You can do that, definitely. You could do, what else do they put in there? They don't sesame oil a little bit. They actually cook it too, that peanut sauce. They could put a little coconut milk in there, coconut amino, peanut butter. I would say a little bit of palm sugar with that.
Does it freeze well?
More of the Thai peppers, the chili peppers or something to put in there.
And you freeze it?
The peanut sauce, it lasts a long time in the refrigerator. I've never frozen it.
How about the whole meal?
Excuse me?
Did you freeze the pad thai?
Oh, no, I wouldn't freeze it. No,
Okay.
I wouldn't freeze it. The cauliflower risotto you could freeze because I did, and it worked out very well. I recooked it, and it was a little bit of water in it, and I reheated it. It was fine. And then the cauliflower that I riced, the fresh cauliflower, I froze because I had so much left over, and then I used that. I made soup out of it. Instead of potato, I used that worked out. That was fine also. I did that. Now, let me see what other things. Oh, I have, let me see. I saw this actually on one of the chefs on Instagram. It was very, very creative. Yeah, I'll show you. When you have leftover, like mayonnaise, okay, see how you have like a little bit of leftover mayonnaise there? Okay. Take some olive oil. I'm going to put some avocado oil. Take some, let me see what else does he have here. Some Dijon mustard. And then you had some lemon juice. And what he did was he put the cover back on. Let me put some more olive oil. I need some more olive oil. And you can put some herbs in here. And what he did was he just shaked it. And he had a salad dressing from all the leftover mayonnaise that you can't get to it in the bottom of the jar.
That's
He
great.
was much stronger than I was, that's for sure. I'm at a jigger shaker here.
You can
Okay.
put a little vinegar in too.
Yeah, a little vinegar. I got some cider vinegar. That probably would help too. Have some cider vinegar. but you don't have to worry about, where's my tongue? It helped it. Thanks, Elena. Here you go. Okay, so everything is off the side and you have a dressing.
What a great idea.
Put it back in the refrigerator and you have a dressing.
Nice.
Very nice. That's
And I have one other hint that I think it's pretty cool. Okay, so everybody loves fresh herbs. Everyone wants to use them, but you don't want to buy the whole package of like rosemary and thyme. So I buy the poultry herbs, and I just have enough to last for like 3 weeks. So I have the rosemary, the sage, the thyme.
wow.
Yeah, so it's much easier and you don't waste it.
Where do you get that?
Anywhere where you see all the herbs hanging up.
Yeah.
So I keep it in the refrigerator. So the sage is good for mushrooms. You can throw them in with the mushrooms, and rosemary is great for the potatoes and everything. And the thyme you can add for dressings or chicken.
Nice for chicken.
But it saves because I'm trying to use more fresh herbs than the powdered stuff.
My question to you is, what is your favorite thing to make?
Anything international, anything. I'm not a good baker. Well, let's say I'm learning, but I just made a recipe from Les's mother. I love to look international. I'm actually taking a Moroccan cooking class. Last week I read the Boston Globe, and the restaurants in Jamaica Plain were like suffering, and they were giving out, they were trying to have people to do cooking classes. So there was a Moroccan cooking class. So I called my sister. So my sister and her friend tomorrow at 2 o'clock for an hour and a half for $35. I'm taking a Moroccan cooking class.
Oh.
I'm making a tangine with eggplant and ground beef. So
Wow.
they were oh, here it is. Yeah, she sent out. I have to find out the name of her restaurant, but she has a spokesperson. So they sent out Moroccan eggplant, ground beef, tangine, and Moroccan refreshing salad. So this is what we're doing tomorrow.
How wonderful.
So we'll see. And I did the great Jewish Food Fest. That was great.
Did you see Joe Nathan and Ruth Reichel talk to each other
From where?
from the Great Big Jewish Food Fest?
I don't remember. I saw so many people.
Oh no!
I got a great gluten-free recipe for blintzes made from chickpea flour from a restaurant in New York.
Well, they were having, Joe Nathan, the cookbook.
Oh yeah, yep. Oh yeah, she was at the end. Was it the cook? I have a cookbook actually.
Right. So she was talking with Ruth Reichel.
Right at the end.
Your name. It was fascinating.
Really?
They
Wow.
spoke for 1 hour. It was amazing.
Wow. I know something must have been going on. I also booked the one for there was somebody from Israel, like Shabbat dinner from Israel. They cooked.
Yep.
And
Yeah, that was good.
The one from Pennsylvania, his hummus recipe, he uses a whole jar of tahini to make hummus. Like, wow, that's really intense. And with 2 cans of chickpeas. That's how he makes it. And there was somebody, and like the baking, I saw a couple of baking classes, and that was
It was wonderful, yeah.
it was very good. It was really well represented. I liked it and enjoyed it. So if you have any questions, you can actually probably make it with the vermicelli noodles also. The smaller noodles, but just don't cook it too long because they're very thin. These I bought in the butchery. I didn't see any vermicellis. I ran in and ran out quick. So any other questions? Dinner's tomorrow night. You can have I did make, was it yesterday? I made duck. I don't know if you saw it. I put it on Facebook. And I took a Chinese cooking class. Oh my God, when my daughter was 6 months old. She's now 38. for her first birthday, I did, it was actually in Assabet Valley in Framingham, and she had like 9 recipes of all original Chinese, like the crispy duck. She had hot and sour soup, you know, the salads and things, and you know, the egg foo young, and her whole first birthday was everything. I did everything from the book, and there's enough food for 80 people, they said, but I always enjoyed it. So I said to Len, I think I have the time, I'll make you some duck. So we had crispy duck. My next attempt is with chicken, because it's a skin. The idea was you marinate the duck with 5 spice powder and fresh ginger and scallions for like 2 days, and then you steam it so all the fat comes out. So after you steam it, you let it cool, and you I can't do the flour, but I used cornstarch and potato starch. You pat it, and then you fry it, and it's very crispy.
Where do you get the duck?
So I did lotus buns with it. I made some lotus buns with it.
Ida, where do you get the duck?
I actually saw it in Whole Foods. I jumped for joy. I was up and, oh my God, I said, and they had it, Bell and Evans had duck, like cryo